Did you listen to Jeff and Professor Hamo in the morning? Here's what
I'm telling you, you need to sit back because lean forward. Better yet, stand up. Better yet, fly. Because I'm sure some of you out there have been accused of something you didn't do, and you paid the ultimate price, and you live with that tag on your shoulders that you are wrongly accused. Just like our guest today, folks. You're gonna love this story. Teresa Njoroge, 2011, was accused of defrauding a bank, we won't mention which one, of 10 million shillings back then. So about 10 million back then was about, well, maybe a beat today. But
yes.
It was a lot of money. Anyway. So, guess what? She was thrown into Langata Women's. Maximum security.
Wow, a whole year.
Heavily pregnant. Gave birth in prison. Are we together?
Hey.
Are we together? So what would you do if that happened to you? Well, guess what? She never, ever gave up. This is her story. Teresa Njoroge, welcome to Hot 96.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to see you.
Asante.
What a beautiful smile. Oh, Katiba. How rude of me. How rude of me, yeah. This is what we call
a story a day.
Apologies, it's 2 hours of sleep.
No, after the excitement.
But
Look
you
at
know
her.
what? I know.
Yes, and the story, yeah?
Beautiful.
You just want to dig into it.
So I'm sure, oh my God, what a story, Teresa. And if you know, and we're not judges here, and we cannot, say whether you stole or not. But obviously, you tell us your story. 2011, 2010.
2011 is when I got convicted.
Oh, okay. So when were you arrested?
Yes, I was arrested on 7th of January 2009.
That's my birthday.
Oh my word!
Seriously?
Oh my.
Yeah, that's me and Baba's birthday. You were arrested on our birthday.
Imagine.
2009.
2009 at work.
So what was your title then?
Then I was an Excel relationship manager.
What does that mean?
It means that I took care of high-profile clientele, individuals who would bring in high deposits and, huge lending.
Yeah.
And I would grow, that.
So you had a good clientele?
I had a good clientele.
What are we talking about? Were they, people depositing 10, 20, 50, 100 million?
100 millions, in the tens of millions. Jeez. That's what I handled.
When I look at my account, I just cry. I cry.
Now ni watu ambao mmezaliwa siku moja. Most of them.
And they're dealing with Teresa's of this world. He says, Teresa, I've got 100 million shillings. I don't know what to do with.
Yes.
Help me out here.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So that's what you were doing.
That's what I was doing.
And you loved it. I mean, this is what you trained for.
This is what I trained for at school, and I had taken up from my dad, who was a career banker. So ever since I was 9 years old, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a banker just like my dad.
How long had you been working for that bank?
That particular bank, about 2 years.
Okay, because you bankers move around a lot, right? Or you get poached a lot.
Yes.
So how many other banks did you work for?
2.
Others before?
One before
right.
and one post working for that one.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, so you left this one and then got arrested with a new bank?
Exactly. When I had just settled into my new place of work, a new other international bank, and it was even a higher position that I had gotten. More money, more benefits. I was growing my career ladder pretty well.
Maybe it was a jealous boyfriend in the bank you left. Or jealous boss.
She does mind poaching.
Yeah. Oh. It was very malicious because I was the only one who got arrested, only one who got prosecuted, only one who got convicted for that.
That's personal?
Yes.
That is personal?
It was personal.
So you get dragged through court for how many years?
2.5 years.
What? And then sentencing day comes.
4th of March, 2011.
Good Lord, this woman has her dates right.
Yes, you never
forget.
It was this month.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
4th of March 2011.
Yes.
You are at the High Court or whatever it is.
I was at the I was at the law court.
Law courts.
At that time, we were still where we have the Supreme Court now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had just given birth to my daughter.
You just given birth.
Yes, who I had named Oma, which in my dialect means truth, because all I prayed for the 2.5 years was the truth to be found out and for me to be set free and vindicated. So on 4th March 2011, I walk into court and I'm like, today is the day I get to start my life after I get set free. Woe unto me. I had 4 counts, 3 were read out and they were all dropped. So you can imagine by the time the 3rd one was being dropped, I was like,
I'm going home.
Thank you, God.
I'm going home.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then we get to the 4th and last one,
Which
and
was?
which was conspiracy to defraud the bank. So the magistrate says, as much as you did not steal the money, you might have known this was a fraudulent transaction, and you might have conspired with someone. My heart sank.
Because you knew something was coming.
Yes.
And what did she say after that?
She sentenced me to serve a year at Langata Women Maximum Prison.
How did you feel?
Let down. At that moment, I wondered where my God was. I knew he was bigger than the magistrate, so how come he did not come to rescue me, because he knew all the detail?
Was your daughter in court with you that day?
Yes.
How old was she then?
Almost turning 3 months.
Wow.
She was still a little young girl.
So this judge is aware you have a little tiny infant,
Yes,
and she's sentencing you to a year at Langata.
for a crime I didn't commit.
How does that work?
It was such a tough ride in the Kenya Prison Service bus to Langata.
Were you all out on bail all this
Yes.
time? Okay, so
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So from there into the bus
Into the bus.
with your daughter.
With my daughter.
No.
Immediately after court.
In minutes.
Huh?
Like immediately the sentence comes, the conviction comes. Immediately. I remember my husband at that time tried to come and say something to me, for us to discuss
Yeah.
what has just happened. And one of the police women who was handling me at that point said to him, "Excuse me, you can no longer talk to her. Yes, she's a criminal, she's been convicted. Yes, she now belongs to the state." We couldn't even discuss anything. And I was whisked away to the cells. They were underground, locked with so many other women who were in there. And it was shock for me because it was women who, oh my God, I was like, how will I survive here? And with my little girl, whom I had prepared, once we were vindicated, my life of now bringing her up as a new first time mom and starting my life, but here I am in this cell underground. Oh my word, I was so confused, so traumatized. It was a standstill of everything. I just couldn't make sense of what had just happened. I thought you go to courts, you follow due process, they have all the facts. Because they have clearly seen I didn't steal the money, they have everything, no one has pointed a finger on me. I honestly thought I'd be vindicated.
Could you have appealed?
Yes.
Did you appeal?
Yes, I appealed immediately. Within 14 days that I was given. But our court take so much time before you're eventually heard and getting those dates. So it took 2.5 years for me to be cleared. By the time I was being cleared, which was on 25th of February 2013, I had already served my 1-year sentence at
my goodness. Let's go back, because I think you just kind of sprinted to the 25th, 13. You're in the bus.
Yes.
You're heading to Langata.
Yeah.
Your world has just come to a standstill.
Yes.
What's going through your mind?
I'm done. The shame, the humiliation, the embarrassment, the wondering, what kind of a country do I live in? A country that can't grant you justice. Who do I talk to? I felt silenced. I felt like I had been dropped in a pit where no one could hear or see me, but life continued for everyone else. I came close to understanding what it's like when you're dead. Life goes on, and your story is done.
How old were you then?
I was just 31.
Were your parents in court in the sentencing?
For the first time, I saw my dad shed tears. They were there. Yeah. The entire family was there, very ready for that day, because they had gone through so much turmoil from the day I got arrested. Yeah. And I was in the media as the bank thief, newspapers, on TV. So it had affected my family, it had affected, pretty much everyone who knew me, because they were like, she's been accused of stealing money. For my parents, it was, how do we justify that our daughter is not a thief? Yeah. In the village, in Kiambu.
We know her.
Exactly.
This is my daughter.
Yeah. My dad, this is my daughter. I have coached her, mentored her, done the best I could do for her to get the best of education. She's now exactly where she had told me and dreamt and worked so hard to get to. Then she goes to prison. What happened to our daughter contributing to the economy of this country, being a good citizen, to now being a convict?
So then you get to Langata, strip off your clothes.
Oh my word. The admission takes away your self-esteem immediately. There's no room, special room, that you go into to get into the kunguru, as they call it, the striped uniform.
Yes, it's right there in front of them.
Yes, right in front of everyone. You don't. I remember I didn't know what to hold. I didn't know what to cover. But that was just the beginning of, I would have no privacy at all for the next 1 year. The prison culture, prison language, this was so new to me. Oh my goodness me, it was tough. It was really tough. Yeah.
You're with your daughter?
And I'm with my daughter.
All along?
All along.
Even in the bus?
Yes.
But Teresa, why?
Good question.
Yeah.
I had lost everything. Everything I had ever worked so hard for 3 decades. Literally lost everything. I had nothing to my name because I had used everything that I had acquired all this time to fight and, for legal representation. My name tarnished, So the only thing I felt I had at that particular time in my life was my daughter. And I held on to her, and getting into prison, I found out that there were other women. Actually, we ranged between 50 to 70 women who had been accompanied by their children to prison. So it gave me courage to continue being with her. But to be very honest, Oma gave me hope for another day. Yeah. If I didn't have her, I think I'd have given up.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So then they throw you into the max.
Yes.
What does that mean, by the way? Are you alone in the cell, or?
So the maximum facility means that you are people who have been convicted to death.
Those are the killers?
Murderers. Yes. Huh? So you're with murderers, people who rob violently, people who, who commit all manner of crimes that you hear about, and you're like, yes, truly these are a threat to society. But then again, I was with hundreds of women who, like me, either did not have legal representation, were illiterate, couldn't even understand the charges that they were up against or exactly why they were there. Women who had been denied for years economic opportunities, women who didn't have education opportunities like I did, hundreds of women who truly, surely didn't deserve to be imprisoned.
You're kidding me.
I started understanding the congestion we have in prisons. You pick women who are hawking and trying to sell, women who are just trying to make ends meet and end up being thrown into prison. Yeah. Because I had you have all the time in prison. There's nowhere you're going. Oh my goodness me. So you have all the time, and I decided to choose, I chose to use my time to understand why all these women were in prison.
But tell me something. How did they treat you there? How did the women treat you?
Yeah.
Because obviously you look like you're
Fresher.
Unibabi. Unibabi huyu.
Buju.
Correct.
Kuja hapa.
Wewe kuja tukuoneshe.
Yeah.
How did they treat you?
For sure, I was the odd one out. I was amongst the odd one out in prison because we've got narratives in this country. If you're rich and guilty, you can find your way out. If you're poor and innocent, too bad for you. So there is a caliber of people you don't find in prison. And so the big question was, what are you doing here? You could have, you know, what exactly are you doing here? Which is sad because prisons are not for poor people. We've criminalized poverty. And as much as I was the odd one out, I really try to humble myself and pray very cool and calm because I knew if we got into any fight or exchange, I really didn't understand this culture or how things operate on this level. And I tried as much as possible to make friends and be of help to the officers, to the women, to their children. I took care of their children full time. That was my job.
Did anyone treat you badly there?
No.
At all?
No.
Not the wardens, not
No.
fellow prisoners?
No. I tried my level best to use my experience that I had on the outside to be of value in prison.
So you gained friends?
I did. Lifetime friends.
In max, how many were you in a cell?
In the cell that I was, we ranged between 50 to 70. Yes, with our children.
Huh?
Yes. It was very tough conditions.
How big was the room? Is it as big as the
One
studio?
small toilet, just like this, and this is colorful because it's just gray, very dull.
50 to 70?
Yes.
So how are you sleeping? On the floor or?
Sometimes because we were overcrowded, some of them would sleep on the floor. It's life is very tough in prison.
And the toilet is in the corner?
And a small toilet in the corner. So one woman is taking a shower, another one is using the toilet, another one is cleaning their dish bowl, another one is doing something with their child. You're all crowded in there. The stench is what I will never forget. The stench, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's no flowing water.
Right.
It's issues, you know.
That time of the month?
Oh my word.
Guy.
Shaming when
Guy.
that time comes.
No.
Because at that time, we depended mostly on well-wishers. I have witnessed women sharing panties.
Huh?
You've been in prison for 10, 15, 20 years. Your people no longer come to see you. I mean, the panty you came with 10 years ago is torn.
Yes.
So you've got to depend on well-wishers, you've got to depend on your fellow inmates to share when especially that time comes, you know?
Yes.
Because these are people who sort of are like modern-day lepers.
Yeah.
They've forgotten, no one really cares about them, we judge them. These are criminals, they deserve to be there. Being in prison was such an eye-opener. Yeah. Inclusion.
And all this time, Uma is there with you.
Yes.
And how is she behaving? I mean, obviously, she has no clue what's going on. She just sees a lot of bodies and people.
Yeah. I only got to know the effects of that 1 year in prison with Oma when we got out. She was so scared of color. She was so scared of people who didn't have the striped clothes. That's all she was used to. That's all she knew. When I tried to put her in a bathtub the first time, she cried. Wow. She couldn't get into a karai full of water.
Yeah.
Because she had not been used to that.
She thought it was an ocean or something.
Yeah. And for me, I was like, I want my daughter to enjoy this bath, you know.
She couldn't understand.
But she couldn't. She's not used to seeing people dressed up and made up and so much color. It really affected her.
Did she take her first steps in prison?
Yes.
How?
Yes, she did.
Oh. And her first words?
Mom.
In prison?
In prison, yeah. But I considered myself luckier than the ones whose children talked about uayeye, because that's the language they hear their fellow women talking about, the 3-year-olds, the 4-year-olds. You know, and at that time children could stay with their moms until 5, 6.
Okay.
So you can imagine the language
that they hear.
They don't know thank yous, please.
No.
no courtesy, the basic etiquette. And these are the early learning years of a child. And the things they're learning, vulgar language, fighting,
violence.
Exactly.
Good Lord. Is this a movie?
It
or
is.
is this happening in real life?
You wonder whether is this Kenya? There is so much that we need to be thinking about, because for me, when I was in the corporate world, it never even crossed my mind. I see anyone in that kunguru in hospital or wherever, I'm like, those are the people who truly deserve to be there. Yeah, because they're a threat to society. But getting in there, I started to understand the effects of corruption.
Yeah.
The effects of everyone not getting access to education or to economic opportunities, or the health issues that we have. These people get pushed and pushed and pushed further to the edge, and finally end up in prison. They weren't criminals, but circumstances, survival led them there.
Were there suicides, or were there, those kinds of situations in jail, in prison?
No, but I experienced women die. Yeah, I experienced women die.
From illness or health issues?
Health issues. A lot got ill. You come in there, high blood pressure, ulcers, all manner of ailments. Yeah.
What was your lowest point?
My lowest point was realizing that my esteem had really gone down, my confidence. My mind had slowed down. I couldn't process things as fast as I used to process before. And to be honest, it's taken years to rebuild that. I wished I could open my head, get in there, and quicken my mind to think faster. It's like it rot. Yeah.
So prison breaks you.
It does. It does.
And reduces you to subhuman almost. That's
Yes, pretty much. And it's worse when you come out as an ex-con.
right.
No one wants to touch you.
No, you're a leper.
Exactly. No one wants to touch you. You can't get a certificate of good conduct. Family, relatives, people, nobody can get a job. Huyu alikuwa jela, mwizi mkora.
Kujisaidia.
Yeah. It's tough once you come out. And that's why most of them come out. Either go back, commit suicide,
right,
or just get into depression.
That's the only life they know.
Yeah.
Or that'll give them some kind of dignity.
Exactly.
In a very perverse kind of way.
Yes, unfortunately. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Where?
Yeah. It's another world.
Holiday. Would you get visitors?
Fortunately, yes.
How often?
The prison was very lenient. Anytime a visitor came to see me, they were allowed. But there are minimums of rules and regulations of how often a visitor could come see you. But they were very lenient. No one was turned back. Yeah, and I got them on a regular basis. And that's how I got supplies to take care of Oma and, of course, the other children that I took care of.
And what was it like? I mean, I don't know, I've never been, and I hope I'll never be, but is it a visiting room? They come in under supervision? And how does that work?
Yeah, it's under supervision. Every word you utter is being heard.
And recorded?
Or no.
CCTV or this?
Yeah, but everything you do is monitored. From the moment you wake up, all day, wherever it is you will you're under security. There are places you can't just walk around by yourself. You've got to be guarded. At night, you're still being watched.
What time was bedtime?
We would be locked up by 6 p.m.
It's lights out.
Yeah, not lights out, but you just locked in.
What's for breakfast? Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, umemkumbusha. Oh.
Yes, in that mororo, in that tea.
You remember tuliambiwa hapa Mororo?
No.
Yeah. It's a tin. It's a tin. It's a big tin.
Like what, a Kimbo tin?
Yeah,
or?
But metallic.
Okay.
Metallic tin. And that's what we would feed in. So in the morning it was porridge, let me just say porridge, but
Niki idea kia porridge.
exactly.
Kikitu tu.
Yes. And then lunchtime it would be ugali, a lot of soup, and one sukuma wiki.
Okay. One strip.
One strip. And that one sukuma wiki, we would call it chicken.
Saa zingine unaweza kosa. Chicken unajua ni rare. Right.
The food.
God, Teresa.
We're laughing, but prison takes away every ounce of your being.
And dignity.
Dignity gone. Completely.
How did Mandela do it for 27 years?
Good question.
It's unbelievable.
And then come out and still want to fight for these people who have, you know, how
Yeah.
do
Forgive.
Yeah, it's not easy.
That's lunch.
Yeah.
Dinner. Or is there tea in between?
Oh my goodness me. Oh my word.
unataka kuuliza kama kuna video games. After
Dinner was also ugali?
Ugali, some
Maharagwe.
Maharagwe,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
We eat maharagwe.
When people visited you,
Yeah.
could they bring you food?
No.
Huh?
No way. Food is not allowed from the outside. For security reasons.
No KFC?
Oh my goodness.
hata ulisahau kama kuna K kwa FC.
You know?
Hata ujui kama iko. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No food.
Yeah. You taste buds, you forget what it's like to taste something delicious. Yeah.
Kwani ni jela ni nini?
It's tough.
Sorry.
They beat everything about you, huh?
Yeah.
Everything about you.
They strip.
Kama wanatoa mpaka utamu that you cannot, you don't even remember.
Yes.
Okay, we hear stories, there's contraband stuff inside prison.
Yeah.
Could you get, let's say?
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are contrabands,
Yeah.
and
If you want a pack of smokes.
it's unfortunate that those things happen because they shouldn't be happening.
But it happens.
And it happens.
It's survival.
Yeah.
It's survival.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's some of the officers who support that, but the discipline applies if you're caught. Yeah.
And the regular checks?
Say that again?
Were there regular checks in your cells?
Oh my word, all the time.
With these 70 people in this room, there's
Yes.
checks?
Every
Thorough checks, sometimes with dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No.
They will sniff and get whatever it is that
Bangi
you
or
have. Yes.
whatever, they would sniff it out.
Yeah, and anytime that such would happen, it would leave you even more devastated because of the way it's done.
Would they check your body?
Yes.
Physically?
Yes.
You'd have to chorasaba or...
Yes, and any opening will be checked.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, any orifice?
I'm telling you, it was, oh my goodness, it was horrific. And especially when they know that there's something
they're looking for.
When they suspect or when they... or if they just want to humiliate you.
sometimes, yeah.
Man, I would not wish prison on my worst enemy.
At all. Yeah.
So you met women in there who had been there for years.
Yes.
A year and a half. How long were you there total? 2.5.
I was convicted for a year,
Yeah.
but I got remission.
Oh,
I only served 8 months due to good behavior.
good Lord! I mean, 8 months. You might as well do the whole year. I mean, Kwani.
I know.
Okay, so you did 8 months
Yes.
On good behavior.
Yes, I was released before my due date because I was supposed to leave March 4, 2012. I left on 4th November 2011.
You are very good with dates, aren't you?
You can't forget those dates.
Oh.
Let me tell you, from the minute you get arrested, everything stays fresh with you throughout that journey. You never forget that experience. Yeah.
Someone is already asking, are you going to write a book or have you written a book?
I would love to. I'm already drafting and noting that down because I want to get to the point where I publish it.
Do we have a working title?
Let me not talk about it right now.
Well, we can give you
Because
some
it could
ideas.
change. Yeah, sure.
Huh?
Some idea.
Yeah, for a title, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, let me think of it. So,
Yeah.
8 months later, you're released.
Yes.
How?
So what they do is they look at women who are, have not been engaged in the contraband business. They're not defying the prison rules. For sure, they're not a threat to society. I wonder if I was a threat in the very first place. There are checks they look at, and at that time, the officer in charge of the institution had the mandate to recommend for early release.
Are those male or female?
Female.
All of them are female?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
Except now for some duties, but we wouldn't interact much with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you got along well with them? You had a nice record? You were pleasant to most of them?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
And at the same time, are you fighting your appeal?
Yes. So I'm following up on how my appeal is going, giving any information I need to my lawyers, to my family, who are now very much involved in the appeal because I couldn't be there in person much.
Was your husband key in all this? Was he?
He was. Yeah. From the prosecution in the lower courts to the appeal time, he followed it all through with my dad until I got that vindication.
And how often would he come visit you?
Weekly.
Weekly.
Yeah, he did on a very regular basis. It tore him to pieces to see me and his daughter in prison.
And he never left.
Yeah.
It's a good man.
He was in prison too, you know.
He was in prison too. Yeah.
It is more painful for him.
True. Yes. Or to explain to people where we went.
He never left.
And the stigma.
And he stuck by you.
Yes. Yeah. Grateful because most of the other women who I met, their husbands never came. Their family never came. They were pretty much by themselves. So I'm very grateful that I had that support to lean on and to be able to rebuild my life. And that's why for me, I thought to myself, well, you've had some good breaks. A lot of these women didn't. What is it you can do with the help of others to lift them up? Surely we all deserve a second chance or a first chance, so to speak, for those who never got that first chance.
And that's why you started something called
Clean Start.
Which is?
It's a social enterprise that empowers, inspires, and restores dignity, unlocks potential, creates second chances for women, girls, and children who accompany their mothers to prison. So we train them, and then post-training them while they're inside. We connect them to jobs on the outside, apprenticeships, support them start their businesses, and then for the younger girls, take them back to school and make sure that they're, following up with their studies to completion.
But Teresa, I don't understand this. I mean, if I was to walk out of a prison, the last thing I want is to be associated with it.
Yes.
You took it with you.
I took it with me.
Wow.
I just couldn't sleep, even at home. I just couldn't sleep. I would remember the groaning and the cries of those women that I had met in prison. They would cry about their children, about their lives, about their futures. They would cry. And I thought to myself, I am a first-hand witness, and I can carry that experience to the corporate world.
You know what? That's not even a book. That's that's Netflix.
Yes, this is a movie.
You need Netflix.
Yes, it
Teresa,
could be a movie.
Where did you get the strength? Were you a religious person before?
I was. I was a firm believer. A firm believer in you do good, you get good, you get blessed. Just trying my level best to follow what's right.
And you stuck by it?
And I stuck by it. And that's why it shocked me when I got convicted.
Yes.
How?
Someone was testing you. Someone was testing you.
So I still stood by the principles.
And God cannot give you a bigger burden to bear than you can handle.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
So you come out, you started Clean Start.
Yes.
How many people have you helped so far?
Quite a number. Like last year, 61 women and girls.
Where are you getting this money from?
You know what? Purpose. Money follows purpose and a vision. Because I started with zero. Zero. I started my meetings at Uhuru Park. That was my first office, so to speak. Then I got another office that a well-wisher offered along Koinange Street.
Yeah.
Thank
Blue
you.
graphics.
Thank you.
Yes. Maxwell Kihara offered me my first office space along Koinange Street. We're now at just behind Valley Arcade, Ginge Road, the Lavington area. Poor Internet have offered us office space. We're now a team of 16. 16 women, 6 who are formerly incarcerated, 10 who are experts, who are driving the Clean Start vision. I'm very pleased to say that, for instance, last year, 11 girls sat their KCP behind bars, aged from 11 to maybe 16, who we've now taken back to school this 2019, January, this first term. About 5 women last year who've left prison, who we've now enabled start their businesses, so get sewing machines, fabric, and start a decent means of livelihood. And many from the past years have journeyed with us.
And who is this beside you right now?
Yes.
Is this an example
Yes.
of a clean start?
Yes.
Explain to us real quick, please.
Yeah, with all due respect, this Teresa is what do I call it? The reason behind why I keep doing what I do. I met Teresa in prison and she was serving 2.5 years. Teresa came from a very hard background, and often at 13, 14, firstborn, taking care of her siblings, got married, and had 3 kids before she was 18, tough times as she's trying to make ends meet. Got employed in an M-Pesa shop, got conned, and then because of being conned, ended up being imprisoned for 2.5 years, but she served a year and some months. And so coming out, 3 children, no work, low self-esteem, I meet her, so bitter, and I'm like, Teresa, we need to do something and turn your life around. And Teresa accepted after a while. She's been through our program. She's now, after dropping out in class 8, at 34 years now, she's sitting her Form 4.
This year.
This year.
Oh.
Wow. On top, yes.
Teresa,
Yeah.
how do you feel? How do you feel?
I'm not sure exactly, but excitement would be the word.
Yeah.
After a long while,
Yes.
such a hard life and such a tearing life, because you go through so much, and then prison becomes that top of it, like you cannot take it anymore.
Yeah.
For me, prison was either I commit suicide, which actually went through my mind.
You thought about it.
Yeah, I thought about it a million times. I had been through an abusive early marriage, so I was not ready to go through this humiliation again. So my thinking was, my story now is the version that made Teresa do what she does. Because my thinking, my story is, you are arrested over something you didn't do, but you cannot convince anybody that you're innocent.
Yeah.
So you go in there, and because of where you've come from, her, she got the questions of, what are you doing here? Now me, I looked like the part.
I mean, you.
Huwezi jitetea.
Welcome home.
Kuja. Wewe block D. Notorious.
Yes.
I had exactly his hair, but mine was brown.
Yes.
And because of this thing that I could not smile back then, so a serious face, a bitter woman, you look like the part.
Yes.
So everybody asked, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, me, I'm guilty. So that I could avoid the whole situation of explaining to you what
guilty.
exactly am I doing here.
Yeah.
But prison is something because it gives you solitude. And I've never had that my entire life. So I had to think, do I want to go back to school? Do I want to kill myself? Should I go back and fight for my kids? Because I was not living with my kids back then. Should I go back and fight for my kids? Or what do I do exactly? And then I met her. And she was like, are you sure you're a class 8 dropout? your English is something else. And I told her, books, nothing else, because I am an avid reader and I love books. And it was my way out even in prison. I used to write poetry. It was how I dealt with the situation that is prison, because prison is a situation, and a very bad situation at that. They rip you of everything, self-esteem, dignity, pride, whatever little that you had, they take away.
Is there any sexual abuse in prison?
Let me not comment on that.
Okay. Moving right along. So, you sit in your KCSE.
I should be this year, but I'll not. I'll sit for it next year.
Congratulations, that's fine, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
And what would you tell? Let's say someone just heard about this for the first time right now, that there is life after prison. What do you tell them, Teresa?
There is life after prison when you decide to live that life. Because when we leave, that's when you start your sentence, according to us. When we leave, that's when the sentence really begins.
Yes.
Because when you're in prison, you are among women who are like you, so they don't have any right to judge you.
Right.
But when you come out here, that's when now fingers start pointing.
Everyone judges
As
you.
a thief. Do you remember that story of M-Pesa, the saga that went down? I had to move from where I used to live to where I'm living now, because I could not take the pointing, the questions, the where have you been for the last 1 year or 2 years.
Or they all know. And
They all know,
They're talking
but-
behind your back.
But they need you to explain to them so that they can look at you and see, you are a thief. And we have this problem in the society that we get to judge everybody, we get to, because you are in prison, that's the honest truth.
You know, people forget that when you point a finger at someone, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. You know,
They don't care about the three fingers.
No.
They care about the
So
fact that
Teresa,
they-
the other Teresa,
Yeah.
give people your website, your
Yeah.
details, in case someone out there is listening and would either like to help
Yeah.
or would like some help.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So they can get onto our website, www.cleanstart.co.ke. Our Facebook page is Clean Start. And I'll let Teresa talk about the Instagram, the Twitter, because she's our social media manager.
Hello. Go on, Teresa. By the way, does everyone who work for you, are they all called Teresa or?
We have another Teresa.
Teresa.
Prerequisite.
I'm confused.
We're only 3 Teresas at
3?
Clean Start. Yes.
Only.
Go on, Teresa.
On
Instagram.
On Instagram, we are Clean Start Kenya. On Twitter, we are Clean Start Kenya.
I'm going to follow you guys just
Her
now.
Thank
handle
you.
is Teresa
I am
Njoroge.
about to follow you guys right now.
Yeah.
This
Thank
is an
you.
incredible story.
It is.
I don't know how Katiba Clyde got to get in touch with you guys, but I never thought we'd do a story like this, honestly. This is incredible, and you've just opened our eyes to a whole new world out there.
We're
A
glad we've
whole
done that.
new world.
And we hope we
We hear prison, we hear of people going in, we hear wrongful convictions. But then after that, you don't hear anything more. But there's life
There is.
after prison.
Yes.
You know, Teresa umeweza kuongea and I was surprised. You know, that's there's hope. You look at her, like you say, you look the part.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You look the part, you don't expect.
How's Uma now?
Oma is doing well. Thanks for asking. She's now 8 years old.
8.
Yes, she's in grade 3. She understands exactly the work that I do, and she always asks how she could contribute to making things better so that other children don't end up in prison or people don't get wrong convictions. She wants to be a judge.
Hello.
She has a brother now.
Oh.
He's turning 6 this April.
What is his name?
Uhuru Thiongo Njoroge. I named him Uhuru because I was blessed with him in April of 2013, just after I had been vindicated.
So is that...
Freedom.
That's deep. That's deep. That is too deep. And you have 3 children, Teresa? How old are they?
My first one is 18 years old. He's at home. He's just done his KCSE last year. My second born is at Senior Chief Koinange.
Hello.
Kwani kuna nini hapa?
Clean start.
And my last one is in class 7. and now I'm in school. So everything is working out.
Yes.
Watch out for Teresa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Journalist
Watch this space, huh?
coming out.
Clean Start Kenya
Yes,
on
yes.
Instagram and Twitter. Clean
Yes.
Start Kenya.
Yes.
Facebook.
Clean Start.
Website.
www.cleanstart.co.ke.
You know, I've never met any ex-prisoners, let alone men or women, except Nelson Mandela. But that's another story. I'm so proud.
Thank
I
you.
am so honored and privileged. And you guys, you know, there's a great prison movie that I watch, and I'm sorry to say this, but there's a great prison movie called Shawshank Redemption.
Oh my word.
Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Lots of time.
Wrongfully convicted.
A banker.
19 years.
Yes.
19, yes, a banker, correct.
A banker.
Great movie. You should watch this movie. He's the only one who broke out of prison. He couldn't take it in the end, but slowly he broke, because he knew he was innocent all along. And he crawled through half a mile of sewer to get out. You must watch it. Shawshank Redemption. It's a crazy name for a movie.
Yeah.
But it's such a great movie.
It is. It is.
Okay,
It is.
final thoughts.
Yeah.
Let's start with you, Teresa. Two.
Final thought.
There are people listen to you right now for the first time. People have not left their car. People in the matatu have left the... What are you Nitaendelea nayo. What do you tell them?
I think that we as a society are opted, we are enabled with giving people a chance, but we don't choose to do that. I would really like the stigmatization of ex-prisoners to go low, to go as low as possible, because these are human beings too, and until you know exactly what happened, you are not supposed to judge anyone. And for those who are getting out of prison, there is life after prison, regardless of the depression, because it comes with depression and stigmatization. There is life after prison. That's all I know.
Absolutely. You know, Mike Okinyi, who never ever writes to us ever. He's a sports presenter, senior sports presenter, very famous guy.
Yes.
Working for Citizen TV. He never writes us. Today he says, these Teresas have stories. Wow!
Thank you.
And the tweets, I can read them all, but it will take all day. Incredible, incredible, incredible. Teresa Njoroge,
Yes.
you get the final word.
Yeah.
Go on.
Everybody deserves a second chance, especially when they didn't have a first chance.
Dr. Hemo every day, Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on Hot 96.